And for young Addie Drury, it was her love of a very special bull that catapulted her to the biggest stages in the sport.
Before she was a stock contractor, she was a little gymnast, and she also loves basketball.
She grew up going to the bull ridings and going to the events with us.
All right, Fajita gets the orange bucket on my side, okay?
She has to take care of her bulls every day. She exercises bulls. She has to make sure they've got their water and feed. She's responsible for helping check cattle, fill water tanks. It's like a daily thing.
Really what set her up to really want to get involved with the flanking and the bucking of the bulls was a bull named Hard Labor, and it was a first calf heifer, and she had trouble calving, so we ended up having to pull the calf.
We bottle fed him for a couple weeks, and then we found a nurse cow, and we named her Babysitter, and I taught him how to eat off a nurse cow.
The bulls, I feel like they pick their people, so he picked her. He clung to her. He would jump up when he saw her coming.
We played chase all the time, and we used to take naps after school before homework. He was just sweet and calm, and he would lay his head in my lap.
And then his very first event as a 3-year-old at a derby, Addie flanked him. He actually won first, and she really liked it. So she flanked him his whole entire 3-year-old year.
And she didn't think anything about it. She just knew her boy, Hard Labor, went out there and did his thing, and she was proud of him.
Cody Lambert called me in early January, and he said that Leon Vick has requested that I bring Addie and Hard Labor up to Denver for the National Western for the PBR. And I said, well, that's Addie's bull. And I said, is she going to be able to flank him? He said, no. He said, you got to be 18 to be behind the buck, and she said a PBR. Hard Labor ended up getting invited to the PBR World Finals. And the PBR, caught wind that, we posted actually a video on our Facebook page of Addie, telling Hard Labor that he made the World Finals.
You got selected to buck at the PBR World Finals. We did it.
And she was cheering as loud as she can in the stands, and they showed it on CBS Sports, and everyone really loved it, that, she wasn't back there flanking him, but she was back there cheering her boy on. So anyways, he bucked good enough, and Cody said he's going to bring him back for the next weekend.
The second weekend, we were actually on the way to the arena, to the Dickies Arena.
Addie was reading the back of my badge, and she told me, she said, look, Daddy, it says must be 18 unless you get PBR approval or you're accompanied by an adult. About 20 or 30 minutes before the PBR started that night, I saw Cody Lambert, just standing by himself. He turns around and calls Sean Gleason, gives me the thumbs up.
And he's like, come here, Addie. I was like, what? I was like, you get to flank Hard Labor, and I started bursting out in tears, and he said, you gotta hurry though. So I booked it.
We went down there and got our credentials, and this girl was walking on cloud 9.
It looked like I was really sad, but I was crying tears of joy because I finally got to flank him at a real PBR, and it was just a really cool moment.
Addie Drury, she is 12 years old. That is her bull. That is Addie's first PBR World Finals.
Before he bucked, she said, he will buck harder with me flanking him. Just watch. He bucked amazing. Even the commentators said he bucked harder with Addie flanking him than Chad.
She had tears rolling down her face, and she was just so thankful and just so excited that she actually got to flank him at the PBR World Finals, and that was like a dream come true for her.
And both Addie and her dad, Chad Drury, are here with us now. We sure appreciate you joining us up here. Addie, I want to go back to that moment. So when Hard Labor was born, you were 7. When you flanked him, you were 12. Mm-hmm. Now you're 14. Take us back there, and the nerves, the excitement. What was all of that like?
I was just really shocked that I was able to flank him. And then when I did get to flank him, I was just so overwhelmed and excited because I flanked my bull at the PBR Finals, the biggest level of bull riding ever.
Were you just walking yourself through in your head, okay, make sure you do this exactly this way, do everything? Were you doing that?
Yeah.
Didn't want to mess anything up, give him the best chance, huh?
What I want to know is, what about you, Dad? How nervous were you?
I actually was more excited than anything because her biggest passion is these bulls, and that hard labor that's her baby. And I didn't flank him. I flanked him a couple times when he was a yearling, and then Addie took over, and I never flanked him. When she took him to the ABBI Derbies, the bull competition, she flanked him. At the non-PBR, she flanked him, and it was like, when we took him to PBRs, I was just kind of winging it because I've never flanked him before. And then Addie just has that magic touch with him and those bulls. It just seems like they do buck harder for her. So I was almost relieved that she was flanking him because I knew he was going to buck better. Because the first weekend, they rode him 7.9 seconds when I flanked him, and I was like, man, he almost got rode on my watch, and I don't want that to happen.
Can't let baby girl down. Where did the love of bulls start with in the Drury family?
Well, I grew up riding bulls, my whole life. And then, bull riders, it seems like you'll see a lot of the bull riders that are contractors. It just stays with you, and you always want to be a part of the sport. And it just seems like a natural transition. And you just riding bulls and just seeing them, you almost fall in love, with the sport and with the bulls. And it just seems like a transition that a lot of guys take, and we just absolutely love it.
Talk to me about the bulls that you have here in California this weekend, because I know you brought a bunch of them from Oklahoma. How many did you bring?
We brought 9.
What are they? Or what's your favorite? What's the one we should be watching out for here today?
Probably Haymaker in the shootout round.
Haymaker okay, a 14-year-old shows up with bulls and it's in the shootout round.
Yep.
You know how many guys have been doing this their whole life in there and don't have bulls in the shootout round?
Okay, this is what I want to know. Which ones of them are so sweet that you're getting on their backs and rubbing on them? Because I know there's probably a few that you brought that you do that with at home.
I can rub all over Triple Lot, Haymaker. Question this.
Wait, what is that bull right there?
That is Fajita.
That's Fajita?
And funny thing that you showed that, we have a video that we posted on our social media of Addie sitting on Fajita out in the pasture on cows, and then we made a reel of it, her sitting on Fajita, and then transitioning into bucking at Austin PBR Teams last year, and bypassing the bullfighters and folks on Fast Eddie and just running them smooth over. So it's just crazy when people see that, they think it's a different bull. They think something's like, no, they know their jobs. At home, Addie is always sending me videos, and she gets in trouble for it too, sitting on their backs and doing stuff. And it's just crazy to see how, they just know their jobs. It's fascinating to me to see the bond and the relationship she has with them to really be able to do what she does.
And it just goes to show how relaxed and comfortable they are, and then when it's time to go to work, they know it. But I wanted that list so I know who I could be loving on back there during the show. Okay, Triple Out Fajita, I've got my list. I'm ready.
There you go. Well, when we come back, we've got another list that we're going to share with you. You know what it is. It's Matt's matchup of the day. Oh, by the way, Kate, you've got another job to do. We'll see you inside.
I'm going in. I'm going with the Druries. We're going inside.